The coffee cup slipped from his hand and shattered on the cafe floor. The sound sharp enough to cut through the soft Christmas music playing overhead. Every conversation around him seemed to pause for half a second. His chest tightened, not because of the mess, but because of what he had just heard. The woman standing in front of him, her coat dusted with snow, her eyes glassy with emotion, had just said something that made his knees feel weak. And in that moment, he realized this blind date was never a blind date at all. Stay with me, because what she did next is the reason this story doesn't end where you think it will. If this story touches your heart at any point, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Sometimes knowing we're not alone makes all the difference. Just an hour earlier, he almost didn't come. Being a single dad during Christmas meant every decision felt heavy. Every dollar mattered. Every hour away from his daughter felt like guilt wrapped in tinsel. His name was Daniel, 36 years old, exhausted in a way sleep couldn't fix. Since his wife passed away 3 years earlier, Christmas had turned into something he survived rather than celebrated. He worked 2 jobs, packed lunches before sunrise, and read bedtime stories with eyes that burned from staying open too long. Dating wasn't even on his radar. But his sister had insisted, almost begged him to go. "It's just coffee," she said. "You deserve one normal hour." So there he was, sitting alone at a small cafe glowing with warm lights and cheap ornaments, his coat still damp from the snow outside. He checked his phone again. The message from his sister still sat there. "She'll be late. Please, don't leave. Trust me." That word trust made him sigh. He had trusted before. Life had taught him how fragile that could be. The waitress had just refilled his cup when the door opened and cold air rushed in. That's when he saw her. She wasn't what he expected. Not glamorous, not dressed to impress. She looked real. Her scarf was knitted by hand, slightly uneven. Her boots were worn. She hesitated at the door, scanning the room like she was searching for courage before anything else. When her eyes met his, she froze. For a moment, neither of them moved. She walked over slowly, each step careful, like she might change her mind if she rushed. "Daniel?" she asked softly. He nodded. "Yeah, that's me." I'm sorry I'm late," she said, pulling out the chair across from him, but not sitting right away. "I didn't want to come in unprepared." That should have been the first sign something was off. People don't usually say things like that on a blind date. Still, he shrugged it off. Awkwardness happens, especially around Christmas, when emotions sit closer to the surface. They talk. At first, it was small things. Weather, traffic, how busy the cafe was. Then she asked about his daughter, and when he talked about her love for drawing snowmen with crooked smiles, about how she still left cookies for Santa, even though she knew. Better he noticed something. The woman across from him wasn't just listening. She was holding every word like it mattered. When he finally asked about her, she paused. Her hands trembled slightly as she wrapped them around her cup. "I know this is going to sound strange," she said, "but before I tell you anything about me, I need you to promise you won't walk out." That's when his stomach dropped. "I don't do drama," he said gently, "but I won't be rude either." She nodded, eyes shining. "Fair enough." And then she said it. "Your sister didn't set us up because she wanted you to date." That's when the coffee slipped from his hand. She explained slowly, carefully, like every word might break something fragile between them. She wasn't a random match. She was a social worker. Not officially tonight. She made sure to say that. She was here as a person, but she had crossed paths with his family months earlier. Through his daughter's school, through programs his sister had quietly applied for without telling him. "You were tricked," she said, her voice cracking, "and I hated agreeing to it. But your sister was desperate. She said you wouldn't accept help any other way." Anger flared in his chest. Embarrassment followed close behind. He stood up, ready to leave, his mind already racing with the words he'd say to his sister later. But before he could move, the woman reached into her bag and pulled out a folded piece of paper. "This is why I came," she said. "Not to date you, to give you this in person." He took it reluctantly. It was an approval letter, housing assistance, childcare support, a scholarship application already submitted for his daughter, Christmas funding, things he had needed but never asked for, things Eddie T. even know were possible. She talks about you all the time, the woman added quietly. Your daughter. She says you try to smile even when you're tired. She thinks you're a superhero. The anger drained out of him all at once, replaced by something far heavier. Tears blurred his vision. He sat back down slowly, his chest shaking as years of pressure finally cracked. He covered his face with his hands, ashamed of crying in public, ashamed of needing help, ashamed of how close he'd come to walking away. I didn't want pity, he whispered. This isn't pity, she said. This is community, and it's long overdue. They sat there for a long time after that. Not as strangers, not as a couple. Just two people sharing a quiet moment in a loud world. When he finally looked up, she was smiling through her own tears. There's one more thing, she said. She slid a small envelope across the table. Inside was a simple card, drawn in crayon, a crooked snowman, a messy heart, and words written carefully, slowly. To Daddy. Thank you for never giving up. Love you forever. It was from his daughter. She had helped plan all of this. The blind date, the letter, the surprise. She wanted him to have a Christmas miracle, because that's what he always made sure she had, even when things were hard. That's when he broke completely. If you're still here, thank you. Stories like this matter because someone watching right now might feel like Daniel did, unseen, and convinced they have to carry everything alone. If this story reached you, please like, subscribe, and comment your city below. You never know who else needs to be reminded that help can arrive in unexpected ways. Sometimes even disguised as a Christmas blind date.